Yo, what's up everyone? OJ here. Welcome to another video. Today we've got some awesome information for you guys, so let's go ahead and get right into it. And we're starting off with the PlayStation 4 Successor. So here is what Sony President and CEO Kenichiro Yoshida has stated about the potential successor of the PlayStation 4. Quote, "At this point, what I can say is it's necessary to have a next generation hardware," Yoshida told Financial Times. He declined to formally name the future console PlayStation 5. Yoshida's comments were in response to debate over how Sony should address the rising global smartphone games market and the shifting habits of consumers as it readies game studios and the global market for a PlayStation 4 successor. Now, the Financial Times relayed rumors within the industry that Sony might be planning a tablet that would connect to multiple devices as, quote, "online streaming of games becomes more widespread and the company seeks to derive ever greater synergies between its gamers and movie divisions." Now, the publication also cited, quote, "people in the games publishing industry with knowledge of Sony's plans for a future console, who said early indications were that the next generation PlayStation might have a similar fundamental architecture to the PlayStation 4 and not represent a major departure from the console." Now, back in April, several game development sources indicated that a PlayStation 5 would not release until 2020 at the earliest. So all of this makes sense, but I don't think that it's going to be some type of tablet with game streaming. I think it's going to be a traditional PlayStation type of console, a solid box that just sits right there and tries to get all the different third-party developers to be the lead platform right there. Try to be the strongest if they can. Sony's always came in at trying to be the strongest system since the 7th generation. So I don't think that there's going to be a departure from that. And I think that they're going to have great success doing that. Now, the PlayStation 4, while it's doing very good, obviously it's the 8th generation leader for the most part. It's not going to reach the heights of the PlayStation 2, which maybe no system will ever reach those heights again, but it's still going to do very well. They'll probably top out at 100 and something million, which is very good. That's above the PlayStation 3, and they didn't incur the huge types of losses that the PlayStation 3 saw. So that's definitely not bad. Will they hit the PlayStation 1 sales? Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to wait. I think they'll be right around there. But at the same time, I think that they've done absolutely phenomenal for this whole generation, which is probably going to be, I guess, about the same length as the previous generation, maybe right there in the same time frame, right? The 7 years or so, because they say 2020 at the earliest. I don't think we're going to see a new PlayStation in 2019, so I think 2020 is accurate, and I think that pretty much all the different console manufacturers are going to have new hardware by the time that it's 2020. We're going to see something new from Microsoft, we're going to see something new from Nintendo, and of course Sony's going to have their new system as well. In terms of what the PlayStation 5 can do to be kind of next generation, I'm looking at all the different graphics cards, right? Nvidia released the like 2080 or whatever the new ones, and I've seen games running on them. I see the 4K, and to me, while that is next generation technology, I think Sony would have something that would actually be weaker than those graphics cards, right? Because those are really expensive ones. I'm not exactly sure with the tech and all of that, but I don't really see anything that's too groundbreaking. They were talking about like ray tracing, and everyone's like, oh, ray tracing. And I looked at it, I was like, well, it's just like some shadows. So this is what next generation has come to. Obviously it looks great, you want to have frame rates, but I think that the biggest thing for this upcoming generation, what we're going to see from games, is that we're going to see solid 4K, native 4K with 30 frames per second and native 4K with 60 frames per second on games that would be quote unquote like less demanding, you know, like a Persona, for example, some type of game like that. 4K 60 frames per second, and maybe a bigger game like, let's say, who knows, like a Killzone or something like that, we'll see like 4K 30 frames per second locked, or 4K almost 60 frames per second. Maybe they're trying to target that, and I'll kind of dip here and there and kind of go in between or not, but maybe 30 frames per second for the single player campaign, and the multiplayer is 4K and hits 60 frames per second. I think that's what developers are going to go for. Not everyone's going to be able to get that locked down, but they're going to be able to get it somewhat, or just go with 4K 30 frames per second locked. I think that's what the generation is going to kind of be about with the next hardware. So it's going to be interesting just to see how everything plays out. I think that these systems that are coming, I think it's really just going to be more of an extension to what we see already with the graphics and everything like that. I don't think anything's going to blow us away like we saw from like the jump from the 6th generation to 7th generation, because that was a massive leap with HD technology. So I don't think there's going to be anything that's going to blow us away like that, but I still think that it's going to be good for frame rates. It's going to be good for just clear resolutions, no more checkerboarding, get native 4K in there, and I guess that's okay, right, for people who have the 4K TVs and who want to take advantage of that style of gaming. So what do you guys think about the potential PlayStation 5 coming out by 2020 and what Sony had to say here on the matter? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition has exceeded Koei Tecmo's expectations outside of Japan. So in a recent published notice today, Koei Tecmo did announce that they are raising the income forecast for the second quarter of the current fiscal year, and one of the reasons why they're doing that is because of Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition on the Nintendo Switch, and they stated that it sold much more than they expected in the West. So once again, the West is pulling through for these Japanese titles. However, there are no actual sales numbers, but I would guess that it's trending past the 500,000 units. All we do know is how the game did in Japan based on some of the Media Create sales charts, but we'll have to wait and see to actually get the full numbers. Maybe Koei Tecmo will release that. Some people were saying that Nintendo might release that, but I don't think Nintendo will, because Nintendo didn't release the sales numbers for Fire Emblem Warriors. Koei Tecmo did. So I think that Koei Tecmo will release the sales numbers for Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition when they feel like it. But I don't think that they were expecting this game to be a huge seller. I don't think they're even expecting this game to sell as much as Fire Emblem Warriors, just because Fire Emblem Warriors was a brand new game, whereas Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition was a port of a game that already sold over 1 million units, and that was also on the Nintendo 3DS, new Nintendo 3DS. You can play it on there too if you want to play it on the 3DS. If you want to even get anywhere near a good frame rate, play it on the new Nintendo 3DS. So I don't think they were expecting the game to really do that well, but it seems like it did better than they thought. But I think that a lot of the ports from the Wii U to the Nintendo Switch are doing better than companies think, because nobody bought the Wii U. That's the biggest thing. I hear people say, oh, well, why are they bringing these games over? Well, it's because nobody bought the Wii U. It's very simple why they're bringing some of these games over, is because the Wii U just didn't sell enough, and there's a lot more people that actually want to play the game but don't want to buy a Wii U to play the game, and a lot of these games are exclusive to the Wii U. Of course, these first-party games, these games that came out like Bayonetta 2 or like Hyrule Warriors, a lot of exclusives to the Wii U, or at least like the good HD versions exclusive. There was 3DS, but you know what I'm talking about here. So I think that it's a no-brainer to bring these games over, and you're gonna have success. A lot of people who didn't get a chance to play them are going to get a chance to play them on a much more popular system that's already outsold the Wii U by a good amount. So I wasn't surprised to see that this game exceeded expectations, but we'll have to wait for another day to get the concrete sales numbers. So what do you guys think about Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition exceeding Koei Tecmo's expectations in the West? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the final topic here, we have the release date announcement for Gear.Club Unlimited 2 on the Nintendo Switch. This game is officially coming out on December 4th. Publisher McCroids and developer Eden Games has announced. Now, here is an overview of the game. There's some new modes in here. There's some online multiplayer. It's pretty cool. So the racing game, exclusive to Nintendo Switch, will offer players a vast area to explore with more than 3,000 kilometers of races on the mountainside, through a nature park, in the middle of a desert, or along the coast. Players will discover 250 races, including championships, missions, and challenges. As players progress through the game, they will need to upgrade their vehicles to climb the rankings using the 7 workshops in their specially equipped garage, the Performance Shop. Here, players will also be able to visually customize their vehicles by applying paint and personalized stickers and changing the bumpers, hood, side skirts, or spoiler. Gear.Club Unlimited 2 will feature a roster of 51 cars from 22 big name manufacturers, which have all been revealed. Check out the link in the description below. You'll see the whole list. And like I stated before, this time we've got some online multiplayer, local multiplayer, mission modes, and all sorts of other content to kind of round out the package, improved graphics as well. So that's really good to see. But I think the thing that I'm most interested in, but isn't necessarily like a must-have, but it would be very very nice if this game ran at 60 frames per second instead of 30 frames per second. If I'm going to play a racing game, I kind of like to have that smooth 60 frames per second. 30 is definitely doable. Gear.Club on the Switch was okay, but it would be nice if they can get that up to 60, considering that this is more of like a mobile type of title, right? They brought that over from the mobile line of games, although this one seems to be more customized for the Switch, so we'll see if we'll get that silky smooth 60. It comes out right before Smash Brothers, 3 days before Smash. This game is coming out. I'll probably get a review code like I did last time, so I might check it out if I have the time to do so in December. Who knows what I'll be doing at that point with games and other things. But what do you guys think about Gear.Club Unlimited 2 coming out to the Nintendo Switch on December 4th? Did you play the first game? You excited for this one? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the internet in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages and consider supporting PlayerEssence. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.